What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to go over some things that I hate about my 2018 JL Jeep Wrangler. Now don't take this video too seriously. These hate things about this vehicle are kind of nitpicky. I really couldn't find anything that I truly hate about this vehicle or would deter me from buying it. So don't let this video deter you from buying this SUV because I've had an absolute blast with it so far. I've put about 1,000 miles on it and I love it. It's the first SUV that I've ever bought and I really like the fact that you can take the doors off, you can take the roof off. It is a blast to have, but there are some nitpicky things that I found over the last 1,000 miles or so. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. You can see the Wrangler is currently dirty right now. I went to Uwari, hopefully you guys saw that video from a while back, and it is still producing some mud from that trip. So I need to wash it again, but let's start up top with the roof. I love the fact that you have some different roof options that you can get for the JL Wrangler. I have the hardtop, the 3-piece hardtop version. You can get a soft top. You can also get the My Sky roof option, which I really wanted. It's a $4,000 option. So doing it manually is going to save me $4 grand. But one thing that I hate about this roof is that there are channels here that run from the front all the way to the rear. This is one thing that I do truly hate. When it rains and you go to open these doors, the water goes down and it drips, especially on the driver's side, or especially on the front doors, I should say. It drips right down there, right into the floor mats. But it's just something that you get wet. If it's raining really hard, it just drips straight down. And I think that's something they maybe could have designed a little bit better. Maybe they could have turned this and had it, I don't know, had the channel running down this A-pillar here or something. There's definitely something that could be addressed on that change. Now I haven't noticed it on the rear door because the channel right here is split in between the doors. So you have this trim piece right in the middle of the doors, and I really don't notice it on the back door, especially since the channel runs all the way back to this rear glass. So that is one thing that I do hate, having the water go down there. You basically have to get in and get out as quickly as you can. I do have all-weather floor mats, so it's not really a big concern. It's not like it's just pouring down and gushing in there. But I don't like that design. It's really not all that great of a design. So that's first up on the list, the channels on the roof. I'm not sure if the other roof options have that or not. I don't think the soft top would at all. The My Sky roof might be a little bit different, so I'm not sure. If you have those roof options, let me know if that's a concern. On the three-piece hardtop, it is definitely a concern for me since it's been raining a lot this year. But let's go ahead and jump into point number 2, and that is with the remote start on the JL Wrangler. Now I think this is pretty much standard on all of the Jeeps, and one thing that I found out yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a clip. When we were working on my exhaust install, I had all of the doors off. I wanted to start up the vehicle and hear the exhaust for the first time from the rear, and we found that it did not work with the doors off, so take a look. So here we go. I'm actually going to remote start it so I can hear it as well. Here we go. Maybe? Did I do it right? Oh, come on. Why does it not have to work now?
This sounds great, man.
Oh, I know. Okay, you double tap this, right?
Did you hold it? Wow.
Why am I having this? It works every time. What the heck?
Did you hold the button down?
Dude, I've never had any issues with this.
Does it work with the doors off?
Does it not work with the doors off?
I don't know.
This for a separate video.
I don't know. Double tap it and hold it. Maddie, what are you parking for?
I don't think it works with the doors off.
Well,
Is this a new hate video? So I don't know if that's some kind of safety feature, or maybe if you have the doors off, it's already hot enough. You don't have to have the vehicle warmed up or the heat on or anything like that. But I kind of think that's dumb. I really wish you could just fire it up, then you just hop in. You don't even have to open up the door, push the start button once, and then you're on your way. So that is one thing that I had no idea until we tried to do it, and of course you saw the results. It just doesn't work. So that's kind of something, I don't use it a whole lot, but it's kind of weird that with the doors off it doesn't work. So next up we're going to move on to the doors themselves. So as I already mentioned, obviously you can take the doors on and off, which is a really easy process to do. It takes me less than 5 minutes to do all 4. I've kind of got into a really good routine with it. But one thing that kind of is annoying is the placement of the hinge on the door. So you can lock these doors into place with the hinge, but even if you come to right about here, so let's say you're in a narrow parking spot or something, and I let go of the door, it automatically closes. Now, of course, this is something across the board with many vehicles. A lot of them have a hinge where it only locks in a certain position. So I can bring this all the way out, and it'll lock into place right about here. But the door is kind of pretty open right now. Of course, it could go a little bit more, but if you get it right on the inside of that hinge, it automatically closes. So again, that's not really something that's a big deal. I'm not a very big person, so I can easily slide right in. But if you are trying to get in for whatever reason, it'll just close on you if you have your hands full or something and you don't get it far enough out. So that is a very, very, very nitpicky minor issue. I had to almost pull that one out of a hat just because there were some things I was running out of on things that I hate about the Jeep. So it does that on all 4 doors, but you have the option of taking them off, so can you really complain? Not too much. But let's go ahead and jump to the inside of the Wrangler now. I'm gonna start off with the center screen here. And my biggest issue with the center screen is that there is a ton of information to go through, and you only have these 4 buttons here to control it. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really, but there's 9 different pages that you can go through, and each page has multiple settings within that page. So you can look at a ton of information. The problem that I have with it is the fact that it takes a little bit of time when you're driving down the road. If you need to look at something like, let's say, my fuel mileage or the range that I have on my current tank, it takes a bit to get there just because there is so much information, and the fact that you have to scroll through all of it, you can't preset anything. So I can't do page 1 or page 2 to the things that I use the most. Everything is already set in this layout of 9 pages. So honestly, I think it is an overkill amount of information for the center screen when you could have a lot of that information probably in this center screen here. So if I turn this on, there's a ton of different things that you can go through on the center screen itself. I have the vehicle off right now, so some of these are not highlighted, but there could be a dedicated page, and I think it would be much quicker to get to a lot of that information there rather than having it right in the center. So is this a really huge deal? Probably not, but for me, I have found it to be very annoying. When I fill up my vehicles, I like to go to the trip information, see how many miles I've gone, reset everything, and it takes a bit. Like in my Tacoma, I have that little dial you can just push and reset everything. That takes literally like a second or 2. This, I actually have to go through, find it, get to where I'm going, reset everything. So I love all the information that it provides, but sometimes it's just a little overkill. And then let's go ahead and move on to the steering wheel controls on the back side. So on the back side, I may not be able to show it. Let me go ahead and open up this door. We have a button on both sides. So you can see that little button right in the center, along with 2 other controls, and it's on the left side and the right side. The thing that I don't like about this is when you go to your radio, you can use this button on the back side and push it to go through all of your presets on the top there. The minor issue that I have with it is it only goes one way. So if you miss it, you have to take your hand off the steering wheel, go back on the preset there, and that way you can get back. You can of course use that dial too to scroll through. So again, I'm trying to find some things that I don't like about it, and I wish you could push that button and go forwards and backwards. Is it a big deal? Not really. And then moving to another button down in the center here is the engine start stop button. So this vehicle has that option. When you come to a stoplight, you put your foot on the brake, engine shuts off, put your foot on the gas, it starts back up. There is no way to bypass that button. So every time I hop into the vehicle, I gotta push that button and then it'll perform like a normal vehicle, or it won't shut off. So that's one thing that is kind of a little bit annoying. Every time I forget to do it, it'll shut off, especially in the wintertime or when it's starting to get cold now. If you want your AC to run, or your heat I should say, even in the summertime when it shuts off, it actually lowers the amount of heat or AC that's coming out and actually kind of shuts it off, obviously because the engine's off and it's not blowing as hot or cool as it was. So that's just one thing. I'm sure there's probably something you could plug into the OBD2 port and maybe bypass that somehow, but that is kind of a little bit annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. Obviously, it's just doing its normal process here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open up my driver door. Now I'm sure a lot of you have moved a vehicle with the driver door open before. Maybe you're just moving around in a parking spot, you're in your driveway, or something where you just don't wanna shut the door. A lot of us do that, and that's something that I do in my Tacoma, just for better visibility or whatever it may be. And then you'll see if I try to switch to drive, auto park engaged, I have to go to park, and then I'm gonna try to go in reverse again, and the vehicle's not moving. Like I could give it gas right now, and it's just gonna rev while we are still in reverse. It's blinking, it wants me to go to park. I'm gonna go back to drive now, Oh, see, and it just slammed the brakes on me, and that's obviously because the door is open. Now, is that a really huge issue? I mean, it's annoying. I wish you could move around the parking lot just with the door open. You know, it sounds odd, why would you have the door open? But, I mean, if you're just moving around and you don't want to shut the door, I'm sure everyone has done that before. Comment down below if you do that. Just even, I don't know what it is, whatever it may be, just moving around. It's something that I have found annoying. And so we are going to finish up with things that I hate about the Wrangler in the rear here, and that is with the tailgate here, or the door with the spare tire. So if you want to go ahead and get inside, you have to open this door all the way in order to open up the rear glass. So you can go ahead and just pull this up from there, and that's of course how you enter and exit, getting things in and out. And my main concern with this is how far you actually have to open up this door. Now, compared to a regular or traditional liftgate that you see on a lot of SUVs, you don't have to be as close to an object, I think, in order to obviously open that up. So I back into a lot of parking spots. I even park kind of right in front of my mailbox because of our parking situation on the street. And you have to be cautious of how far you're backing up in order to open this. And there's some cases where I have to open this up about this much because of where I'm parked, and you can't really open this all the way. So this door has to be probably almost about halfway here in order to clear the third brake light here and open up that rear glass. So that is something that's a little bit, you have to get used to it. It's much different than the liftgate. And so if I have any larger items, I just have to be aware of where I'm parking in order to open everything up and get everything in and out. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for things that I hate about my 2018 JL Jeep Wrangler. Hopefully you didn't take it too seriously. These are just some things that I've noticed over the last 1,000 miles or so. I definitely have a lot of plans for this Jeep. I've already installed an exhaust. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link that down in the description. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Give it a huge thumbs up, smash that subscribe button if you wanna see more Jeep mods. I'll see you guys in the next video.